Family members seeking answers tonight after their loved one is gunned down during a home invasion. Stay tuned for the details in the Bahamas tonight.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, a local doctor sending a strong warning over the Ebola threat. That story straight ahead.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
A home invasion in eastern New Providence shortly before 2 o'clock this morning ended fatally.
And Fern Carey went to Blair Estates just hours after the incidient. Has our top story tonight, where she spoke with family members and friends of the 44-year-old victim.
Relatives and friends of 44-year-old Andre Cartwright, also known as Chalky, described him as a hero after he was fatally shot while saving his parents' lives following an invasion at his home on Richmond Street in Blair Estates early Tuesday morning. A close friend of Cartwright believes the tragedy may have been the result of another incident that occurred hours earlier.
Three individuals, a female was driving and two males. And I believe it was a silver car that's been in the area, and they were in the Dix Point area, and what they were trying to do was get into people. They try to get into your house, and they ding the bell and everything, and they say they're the police and they want to come in, but you cannot let them in. And what happened? We reported it to the police, so the patrol car came to Dix Point. At that point, the murderers went out west. They broke into a house out west, held everyone at gunpoint, and then they were back out east while the police were dealing with that. They were back out here to this house at 1:30 this morning.
The tragic incident then unfolded seconds later when the armed bandits kicked in the front western door and entered the home. Now, relatives say the tragic incident took place right here after the culprits broke down this door to gain access to the family.
These two guys had their guns drawn and they were coming in, and Andre told him he has a licensed shotgun, and he said, I have a gun and I'm going to use it. And they kept saying, police, police, and they started to break down the door. And they were coming in to kill Andre's mom and dad. And Andre stood in the way in front of his mom and dad, and he saved their life. And they killed him, but Andre got a shot off, and he shot one of the murderers.
Family members say Cartwright's parents were unharmed. However, he collapsed in this bathroom after being shot and was taken to hospital, where he later died. Police confirmed the culprits escaped in a silver Honda Accord. However, a short time later, a female driver showed up at Princess Margaret Hospital with a male passenger suffering from gunshot injuries to the chest. That man is listed in critical condition. The female was later taken into police custody. Meantime, the victim's cousin, Brian McCarty, says Cartwright was unmarried, an architect, and was the only child of his parents. He was loved by all and will be sadly missed.
He was a jolly person, very, very jolly. He could go in a group of children that he never saw before, and when he finished with them, they like this daddy, because he is very funny.
Now, police were on the scene meeting with family members and residents in the area in an effort to allay fears and offer condolences. Inspector Kendall Smith also confirmed that investigations are ongoing into a similar incident where persons have posed as police officers. Fern Carey, ZNS Network News.
Well, there's nothing they can do to reverse the tragedy, but in the future, Blair residents say if they had their way, the future of their community will be quite different. Keishla Adderley spoke with Crime Watch participants and neighbors left angered by what they say are regular incidents of crime in their neighborhood.
A sign over the front door welcomed guests as a repairman reinforced the locks shattered by an intruder. But the Cartwright family's broken hearts won't be so easily mended.
Always have food ready, always a welcoming smile, just welcoming and heartfelt people. And Andre was fun.
The neighborhood was preparing for friendly trick-or-treating events, but this year's deadly home invasion has placed a chilling cloud over the tradition. Instead, the Blair Neighborhood Crime Watch Association spent the day patrolling the neighborhood bordered by Village Road, the Eastern Road, and Ryswick Road, starting with a call to police about a suspicious truck with expired tags parked just off the Eastern Road. Association members who didn't want to be pictured on camera said nagging crime has pushed them to the last-ditch idea of proposing a gated community.
We have tried to gate it off, but each time it's kind of been shot down because they say it's a kind of a connection, a link between the Eastern Road and Village Road. But I think now the government officials need to look at that differently, look at the different areas differently, because the citizens are trying to protect themselves. This is not the type of island or island that we grew up in as kids 25, 30 years ago.
My parents down the road, they get butt with a gun. Let me tell you all something. Blair Estates needs to be a gated community. We are being targeted daily.
But even the less violent intrusions are cause for concern, with just one neighbor being hit by thieves in the space of 1 year, 5 times. Another member of the Crime Watch detailed a recent encounter with a brazen burglar caught red-handed.
He even had the audacity to ask the person whose house he broke into for water. Then he also had the audacity to ask the police to put the AC on in the car because he was sweating.
But as they grieve over the relative and neighbor they lost when intruders took advantage of the stillness of their community, the irony is they're praying for the quiet of their neighborhood to be restored. Kishla Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Well, police also looking into a second home invasion early this morning. A female resident of Western New Providence was at home around 12:30 a.m. when persons unknown to her kicked in her front door. 3 men entered and accosted her with a gun and took cash, jewelry, and electronic items. The assailants left in an unknown direction. Now, police have yet to confirm if both of this morning's home invasions are connected. Though home invasions are not a new crime trend, National Security Minister, the Honorable Dr. Bernard Nottage, affirmed that law enforcement officials will do what they can to decrease these incidents. And while they're still working daily to combat violent crimes, Dr. Nottage says the force is doing what it can despite being challenged with resources.
It's difficult for us to have vehicles and people in every street, that we can't do it in every street, etc. But we will review what has happened in this case and devise programs to deal with it.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Shell Ultra Low Sulfur Diesel.